Water scarcity already affects every continent. Around 1.2 billion people, or almost one-fifth of the world's population, live in areas of physical scarcity, and 500 million people are approaching this situation. Another 1.6 billion people, or almost one-quarter of the world's population, face economic water shortage.
Okay, so my name is John Travis, and I'm one of the founders of Drop in the Bucket. We build water wells at schools in sub-Saharan Africa. We mainly work in post-conflict areas, so areas that have had more than 20 years of war. It's northern Uganda and South Sudan are the two main areas we focus on right now. And what we do is we build water wells at schools so that the children, particularly girls who are walking every day to go get water, can go to school instead. So right now in the world there are 600, according to the recent UN statistics, there are 663 million people that lack access to clean water. So that's 1 in every 10 people on the planet has never had a glass of clean water, doesn't know what clean water tastes like, which is pretty insane considering that we can send satellites up in there, that we can all talk to each other through cell phones, or that we can send the Voyager to the moon, to Mars. Voyager to Mars. So we can send the Voyager to Mars, but we can't get everyone on this planet clean water, which is kind of insane. And water is so simple because there's water all over the world. There's so much of the planet is covered in water through salt water, so you could use desalination. You can use water more efficiently. So, for example, Los Angeles is a desert, technically speaking, but we bring in water from Colorado, and through a system of dams and viaducts, we bring water in from a whole other part of the country, and that's what makes Los Angeles inhabitable. Otherwise, it would be much more desert-like than it is now. So the fact that people have malls with fountains in them, and people have lawns, and people have swimming pools, all these things all come down to the fact that we've managed to bring water in from other places. Las Vegas is another great example of that. There's no reason that Las Vegas should look like it does, except that people have figured out how to bring in water from other places, and that's made that whole space inhabitable, but not just inhabitable, they've put fountains at every hotel. There's water all over the place. Water's used for entertainment there. To people in Africa, the idea that you couldn't go shopping without there being a fountain throwing water up in the air is insane. Like, people in the areas we work in wouldn't even believe it. So we do have to be very cognizant of how we use water living in Southern California. Each year they show us pictures of rivers that have dried up and lake beds that are at their lowest levels, historically low levels. And it is important because without water there is no life, and things could significantly change in Southern California due to water access.
I'm Krista Rieger, a water conservation specialist for the Long Beach Water Department. Water scarcity, of course, is a very big issue here in California. It's not a new issue, though, which is what most people will think of. Droughts have been happening since the beginning of time, and I think what we're noticing now with climate change and the way everything's working is really that our droughts are getting longer and they're happening more often. And so really our job is to prepare for that and to understand that we're going to have to continue to work into the future knowing that water will be less available than it currently was before. Here at the Long Beach Water Department, we have a number of conservation programs that we use that work together really to help us preserve our water resource. We have, of course, our education program, which goes from kindergarten all the way to adults. We go into schools, talk to the children about conservation and water use. And of course we reach out to homeowners and our Long Beach residents to explain to them how they can use water more efficiently, making sure that they really think about their water when they're using it and understand that it's not something that is always going to be there, that they have to conserve it the best they can, which allow us to provide money for people to find other ways to be more efficient. If they take out their grass and put in a garden, if they change out a washer or a toilet, things like that, where we get big savings all at once. So that's a big help for us as well. We also think of conservation here as a resource. So the same way that we purchase water from a wholesaler, we also get groundwater from our wells. Conservation is the amount of water that we get. So anything that we save, we are allowed to use into the future and have as a backup. So we're constantly looking at ways that we can improve our own efficiency here at the department with leaks and infrastructure and things like that. The big thing that you really need to think about when you're trying to conserve water into the future is those behavioral changes. Always thinking of water as a resource that needs to be saved. So everything gets shorter showers, more efficient toilets, using water less often when you wash your face or brush your teeth, using your sprinklers less. If you can, putting in a drought-tolerant garden instead of having grass all over your house, if that's what you have. The behavior changes are what is going to drive us into the future, and it's what's going to help us save water into the future. So always thinking of water as something that needs to be saved will be the best way that any individual can continue to help us into the future save our water.
Water scarcity is both a natural and human-made phenomenon. There is enough fresh water on the planet for 7 billion people, but is distributed unevenly, and too much of it is wasted, polluted, and unmanageable. The key solutions to water pollution come down to individual responsibility, because we all have a direct impact on the environment.
Please remember to always conserve water.